Hello everyone, welcome to City Talk. I'm Thermice Bevelle. 50 years ago, Atlanta made the historic move of integrating the city's fire department. 5 decades later, those individuals were honored for their courage and determination. City Talk's Troy Danicus takes us to Fire Station 16 to celebrate the achievements of those brave men and women.
Fire departments in the U.S. have always had proud traditions. From New York to Boston to Los Angeles to Atlanta, firefighters in major U.S. cities face some of the most harrowing challenges. One of those obstacles in Atlanta was integration.
Being vocal, being black, fighting for others, and it made it kind of difficult. But I always welcome a challenge.
50 years ago, Atlanta began integrating its fire services. 16 African-American men were recruited. Retired Captain Harold Rosamond says the command staff was not shy about breaking in their new recruits.
We were going to every fire in the city.
Did you ever think of quitting?
No.
Why not?
I wanted it. Best job I ever had, besides the 82nd Airborne.
Retired Battalion Chief Liz Summers was another Atlanta fire rescue pioneer. She was one of the first African-American women firefighters.
When I walked into Station 15, I was greeted with my lieutenant at that particular time, who told me that I was not welcome. I didn't need to be there.
She eventually won over her superiors through her resilience and dedication to the job.
One of the battalion chief approached me, and he said, "Liz, I wasn't happy when you came initially, but I want to say now I'm glad to have you."
The success of Atlanta's integration gave hope to a young Kelvin Cochran who had dreams of one day becoming a firefighter himself.
I always wondered why no one ever told me to change my mind because blacks were not allowed to be firefighters in Shreveport. But also I believed they had heard about 16 black firefighters in Atlanta.
For City Talk, I'm Troy Danicus.
The event was sponsored by Councilmember Michael Bond, who has worked tirelessly to honor the heroes of the civil rights movement. Councilmember George Shepard holds a public safety town hall meeting. Shepard and the Atlanta Police Department held the educational meeting to review crime prevention strategies that neighbors can use to deter criminal activity.
I want to make sure that this summer we have really some good programs in terms of public safety, neighborhood watch, court watch, following through, keeping our kids off the street, just an array of different things that we want to teach our community residents about in terms of what they can do to protect their homes and protect our children and the quality of life for our district.
We're going to speak on some of the initiatives that we've got going on with the Community Liaison Unit, the Smart 911 system, See Something, Say Something, the Clean Car Campaign, and the Citizens Police Academy.
District 12 residents are striving for a safer Atlanta. Mayor Reed joined Councilmember Shepard and Kwanzaa Hall on a recent tour of Ponce City Market. The tour included some of the areas that will soon house retailers and restaurants. The mayor promised his administration would stay committed to the project and mentioned plans to issue $250 million in bonds to invest in transportation projects. Some of that money will help ease congestion around Ponce City Market. He also reminded the group of their unique location, nestled near the Atlanta Beltline and some of the city's hippest neighborhoods.
So if you want to walk at lunch, go somewhere to eat at lunch, get some sun at lunch, it's going to be right next to you. You're surrounded by some of our best neighborhoods. Virginia Highlands is just up the block, and then right down the street is Piedmont Park, which is the city of Atlanta's most special park.
Ponce City Market will cost just over $200 million when complete. Jamestown says the site should be 100% ready by spring 2014. Atlanta police geared up for the arrival of the NCAA Final Four. Large crowds packed the streets of downtown as fans clamored to see their teams take the prize or to be sent home. Monitoring all of that activity was APD's Joint Operations Center. The center was manned by APD and representatives from other law enforcement agencies, including the GBI. Dozens of events were held in the days leading up to the championship game, including concerts and the taping of Conan O'Brien's late night talk show. This was the first year that one city has played host to all 3 NCAA Division finals. And as part of the festivities surrounding the Final Four, the NCAA partnered with the Tyler Ugolan Foundation to refurbish the Dunbar Recreation Center. Part of those renovations includes a new basketball court.
just as important to get into the community and touch the individuals who don't always have the direct contact with the NCAA championships, and to take our resources and do what we can to make sure that we set a foundation for young people to have an opportunity to participate in sports.
The foundation was established in memory of Columbia University alum Tyler Ugolin, who was killed in the terror attacks of September 11, 2001. He was an investment analyst who worked on the 93rd floor of World Trade Center Tower 1. Council members Howard Shook and Yolanda Adrian co-hosted an eco-collection which let Buckhead residents easily dispose of materials that are not safe for regular trash pickup, like paint, household chemicals, and old electronics. The event also allowed residents to get rid of expired medicine, batteries, and fluorescent light bulbs.
It has been a fabulous day. We have taken thousands of gallons of paint, diverted them from our landfills, and removed countless boxes and crates full of household chemicals.
We collect this stuff by the ton every year, and this keeps that stuff from going into a landfill, and even better, it's going to come back to us in the form of a brand new recycled product.
Several organizations provided their services. District 9 residents teamed up with Councilmember Felicia Moore and the Mayor's Office of Constituent Services for a community cleanup. Volunteers targeted trash, debris, and illegally dumped tires. They cleaned James Jackson Parkway, Bolton Road, Northwest Drive, and Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway, where a particular property has been a source of concern for the community. Cleanup crews were proud of the progress they made. Hartsfield-Jackson is still the world's busiest airport. Airports Council International confirmed Hartsfield-Jackson's announcement earlier this year that it has more passengers than any other airport around the globe. This is the 15th year Atlanta's airport has earned that distinction. Over 95 million passengers passed through the gates in 2012, making it the busiest in terms of travelers and operations. And in the second spot, Beijing with 81.9 million passengers. Mayor Reed held another of his quarterly faith-based luncheons at the Civic Center. Dozens of representatives from all faiths were present, as well as the heads of Atlanta's public safety trifecta. Mayor Reed highlighted some of his accomplishments over the past year. He also outlined some goals for 2013, concentrating on 4 specific areas: job creation, ending homelessness, creating an inmate reentry program, and a recommitment to the success of Atlanta public schools.
And this starts with you all helping us determine that there are competent, capable, qualified people who run for our school board systems. So that's without disparaging any current member.
The mayor went on to say that he intends to seed these 4 goals with an initial $1 million. Representative John Lewis has a productive legislative luncheon. Every year, Congressman Lewis brings Georgia House and Senate members together with local leaders to discuss issues facing the 5th Congressional District. Lawmakers share concerns, ideas, build alliances, and develop collaborative strategies to help address the district's problems. The annual meeting is held each year at the Georgia Railroad Freight Depot. The meeting allows legislators to openly and freely communicate. Georgians ride to the Capitol to bring awareness to safety needs for those who bike. And Fire Chief Kelvin Cochran joins us for a look at Atlanta Fire Rescue. Stay with us. Who says dreams don't come true? Kelvin Cochran, a small-town kid with big dreams. In fact, those dreams took him all the way to the White House. Fire Chief Kelvin Cochran was 5 years old, living in Shreveport, Louisiana, when the house across the street caught on fire. He watched with amazement as a big red truck rolled up and firefighters in long black rubber boots went to work. From that day forward, that's all he's ever wanted to do.
When I shared my dream with grown-ups, they would always respond saying, "Your dreams will come true, Kelvin, if you believe in and have faith in God, if you go to school and get a good education, if you respect grown-ups, and if you would treat other children like you want to be treated, all your dreams are gonna come true."
Cochran began his 32-year career as a firefighter in his hometown and became that city's chief. In 2008, he left Louisiana for Atlanta, and then President Obama came calling. Cochran headed to Washington, D.C. to be the U.S. Fire Administrator. Now back in Atlanta, under Cochran's leadership, Atlanta Fire Rescue has seen dramatic improvements in response times and staffing. Chief Cochran, it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here.
It's nice being here.
Back in July, the fire department reached full staffing with 4 firefighters per engine and 0 vacant firefighter positions for the first time in the history of the department.
Yes, we did, and it was a goal that we have been pursuing for more than 2 decades, and we achieved it on last summer. And what that means is when we have 4 firefighters consistently every day on each engine and each truck, it means that we're in a better position of rescuing and saving lives if someone is trapped when we arrive on the scene. And it puts us in a better position of extinguishing a fire, minimizing property loss. So our 2 primary objectives, saving lives and property, can be achieved on a far greater scale when we have 4 firefighters on each engine and each truck. But it also has implications with emergency medical services calls. When we have enough firefighters on the first arriving engine or truck on an EMS call, we have enough EMTs, emergency medical technicians, if a person is in what we refer to as the worst case scenario of cardiac arrest. We have enough people to start CPR, to begin AED, electrical defibrillation, and to begin the drug and IV therapies necessary. So having enough people puts us in a better position of achieving our mission.
Last year, Fire Chief Magazine named you Fire Chief of the Year. That's a big deal.
Yes, it's a big deal for my family, who have been very faithful and supportive of me over the 32 years that I've been in the fire service. It's a big deal for the men and women of the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department who, without their support and followership, I would not have even been recognized. It's a big deal for the city of Atlanta and Mayor Kasim Reed, because had he not appointed me as fire chief, I would not have had the privilege of serving this community. And so I see the Fire Chief of the Year award really as a testament to my family, to the members of the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department, to Mayor Reed, and to the citizens of Atlanta. And the last thing on that list is, anything that I may have done to contribute to it.
As chief of a metropolitan city, you have work, family, and community involvement. How do you balance it all?
Well, first of all, I love it. I love my family, I love community, and I love what I do for a living. But because of the volume of duties and responsibilities and activities associated with that, my faith plays a huge part in me being able to stay on top of things, so to speak. So I start every morning at 4:45 every day, spending time with the Lord. I look at it as filling my virtue tank. It takes a lot of virtue day in and day out to accomplish the things that I'm expected to do. And so about an hour to an hour and a half, I spend quiet time, praying and reading and studying. And by the time 7 o'clock rolls around, I'm dressed and ready to roll out the door and do everything I need to do to be productive that day.
When you look back over your career, what are you most proud of?
Well, there's 2 things. One thing, as the leader of an organization, I have been fortunate to be able to create synergy within an organization around a common shared vision and a common shared mission, and then to hold members accountable and allow them the freedom of holding me accountable for the stake that we all have in making that mission, bringing it to fruition on a day-to-day basis. It has really worked, getting us through very difficult times here in the city of Atlanta, and it's really been a catalyst for us bouncing back after the difficult fiscal year 2009. As far as achievements go, I think as I look back over my career, the thing that I consider one of the greatest achievements, if not the greatest, is the blessed privilege of returning to the city of Atlanta. I was appointed under Mayor Shirley Franklin. At the end of her tenure, I was appointed to the United States Fire Administration by President Barack Obama. Some might think that that had to be the apex of my career. Well, it was a tremendous honor serving under President Obama, and a tremendous honor of being the President's fire chief and the nation's fire chief. But returning to Atlanta is the peak and pinnacle of my career, and as I see it, one of the greatest accomplishments in my career.
You were all smiles at Fire Station 16 as the city commemorated the 50th anniversary of the first African-American firefighters. Those were people who paved the way.
Oh, yes. In 1963, when the city of Atlanta hired its first 16 African-American firefighters, who ironically worked at Fire Station 16 that was built specifically for them because they were not allowed to work at any other fire stations. They had to be grouped in that one location. And the challenges that they faced and overcame is one of the reasons why I'm a firefighter today. When my dream was born in Shreveport in '65 to be a firefighter when I grew up, 2 years prior to that, 16 African-American men were hired here in Atlanta to be firefighters. When I was growing up, I never understood why grown-ups never told me to change my mind and pick another career because blacks could not be firefighters in Shreveport. They never told me that. I just believe that somehow or another they found out that black firefighters were hired in Atlanta and that dream was a reality for me even in Shreveport. And even though the city of Shreveport were not hiring African Americans at the time. So it was a big deal for our city, and it was a big deal for me. That rich history of our fire department has enriched all of our members, white, black, Hispanic, Asian. And then of course that celebration the other day was to commemorate the hiring of 7 African American women that were hired in 1977. And it also commemorated the life of the first African American middleweight champion of the world, Tiger Flowers, Theodore Tiger Flowers, whose house was on that property that was torn down to build Fire Station 16. So it was just a tremendous historical celebration for the city, a city that's just rich in history already. So,
Fire Chief Cochran, thank you so much for taking the time to stop by.
It is my pleasure.
A local football standout gets a special honor from the community. And when you think of swift water rescue, the city of Atlanta might not come to mind. Think again. Back in a moment. A hometown boy makes good. Professional football legend Richard Dent is now a hometown Hall of Famer. The Pro Football Hall of Fame program and Allstate Insurance Company honors the hometown roots of football's greatest coaches, players, and contributors. They were in Atlanta to present a Hometown Hall of Famers plaque to former defensive end Richard Dent, who grew up here.
I tell you young kids that I see on this row here, it's in Atlanta Public Schools, this is your world. What you want out of it, put a stake in the ground, think about what you want, and go after it.
Now therefore be it resolved that we, the members of the Atlanta City Council, on behalf of the citizens of Atlanta, hereby proclaim Wednesday, March 27th, 2013 as Richard Dent Day in the city of Atlanta.
Dent went on to play for Tennessee State and was drafted in the 8th round by the Chicago Bears. He was a great pass rusher who beat offensive tackles with his speed. He played for 5 NFL teams, and it was his 10 years with the Bears that brought him career highs and a Super Bowl championship. Dent won another Super Bowl ring with the San Francisco 49ers. He was inducted into the Football Hall of Fame in 2011.
He is committed to the excellence of the student body here, and he was so encouraging to the young people today, telling them to pursue their dreams. So he's given back more than time, more than money. He's given back a story that they can all share in.
His Hometown Hall of Famers plaque hangs at Krim Open Campus High School, where he played football in the 1970s when it was named Murphy High School. Bicycle enthusiasts were met with a light dusting of snow as they converged on the State House for the 2013 Ride to the Capitol. Every year, cyclists from several cities make the trek to the Capitol to rally for statewide improvements to biking infrastructure. This year, a light snow fell as speakers made their way to the podium. The bikers urged statewide leaders to adopt a complete streets policy.
And what that policy says is that any road that's built in Georgia using state or federal funds must include provisions for the safety of all road users, including pedestrians, people on bikes, and transit users.
The city of Atlanta is demonstrating its commitment to cyclists. Atlanta will spend almost $2.5 million this year on 26 new bicycle infrastructure projects that will increase safety for riders. Last year, Mayor Reed unveiled some safety improvements near Tech Square and announced the launch of Cycle Atlanta, a mobile app that allows riders to report areas that have safety issues. STEM, or science, technology, engineering, and math, was a topic of discussion for this year's Women's History Month luncheon. Dr. Valerie Montgomery Rice spoke to the crowd about health disparities amongst different groups and their possible causes. One theory she proposes is that slavery may have indirectly impacted the health of African Americans centuries later.
And how adoption to that environmental stressor turned on some genes so that I could survive, or silenced some genes so that I could survive, because it was always about survival.
Dr. Rice went on to say that despite one's history, a good diet and exercise can greatly prolong your life. Atlanta police and fire team up for a training exercise. APD helicopter pilots assisted firefighters as they trained at swift water rescues. The simulation had the team helping flood victims off of a rooftop. APD purchased a special hoist for these kinds of rescues. The hoist also gives first responders the option of setting firefighters down on top of buildings for high-rise rescues.
Now we can talk back and forth with one another through the helicopter, through our boats, through communication systems. We actually come together now to be just one team. It's not APD and it's not Atlanta Fire. It's good for the citizens of Atlanta, and we've come together, so the city should be proud.
The hoisting cable is 250 feet long and has the capability of lifting 600 pounds. For instant access to Atlanta city government, go to our website, atlantagA.gov, where you'll find a number of helpful ways to connect with us. And if you're trying to reach us, you can always email us. Send your questions or comments to citytalk@atlantagA.gov. Atlanta strikes up a partnership with Africa. And let's play ball. Thousands of fans come out to Turner Field for the Braves season opener. That's next. City of Atlanta employees are in the national spotlight thanks to Dr. Ian Smith and Katie Couric. Smith's new book and his positive attitude towards fitness encourage us to just shred it. And Mayor Reed is helping to lead the way.
City of Atlanta employees signed up, weighed in, and are now taking the challenge. Dr. Ian Smith's Shred Weight Loss Challenge, that is.
How many people in the room are going to shred?
Smith's new book, Shred, The Revolutionary Diet, 6 weeks, 4 inches, 2 sizes, is creating lots of buzz about losing weight and getting healthy. The #1 best-selling author is teaming up with Mayor Kasim Reed to make sure Atlanta gets in on the action.
Ensuring that our employees have the resources to achieve their personal wellness goals is one of my top priorities. And our employees are our greatest asset, and our Department of Human Resources, led by Yvonne Yancey, realize how important it is that you all be fit and that I be fit too.
We're all going to get together as a city and support each other and love each other and get healthier, look better, and feel better. So I'm proud of you all. We got 6 weeks to do it.
Then it's off to New York and Katie Couric's talk show.
Some of you may be coming here to New York to be part of our show, so you can show off the new you. So good luck, Atlanta.
And participants are wasting no time. Line dancing, Zumba, and such were part of the recent Women's History Month health fair, where Dr. Smith made his appearance. But there's a serious side to fitness. Medical experts conducted on-site health screenings involving blood pressure checks, measurements, and more.
I just want to try to get my blood pressure down and weight down so I can live healthy, and when I have kids, I want to live to at least 60, 70 years old to watch them grow.
Smith got up close and personal with some city employees to ensure they're on the right track to improved health. And Mayor Reed also promises to keep the motivation going.
I work out on the 4th floor of City Hall, so I'm with the employees. And you know, the speed of the ship is the speed of the captain, so I'm going to lead from the top.
The Shred Weight Loss Challenge is part of the city's A Healthier You campaign. Springtime in Atlanta means flowers at the Botanical Garden are in full bloom. The grounds are overflowing with the colorful sights of tulips, daffodils, and hyacinths. The Botanical Garden currently features Atlanta Blooms, an exhibition of bulb flowers. They have several different varieties of tulips, including hybrids typically seen in Holland, and tulips from the Middle East, where the flower is originally from. But gazing at flowers and enjoying their fragrances are just one of the activities the Botanical Garden offers.
And the edible garden, there's always something going on in the edible garden. If you come by on the weekends, we have cooking demonstrations Saturday and Sunday at 12 and 1 o'clock. So you can see something that you may want to eat using some of the produce that we're growing in the edible garden.
And if you want to get your thumbs green, the Botanical Garden has tips for growing bud flowers. Start your planting a year early. Go to public and private gardens to start generating ideas for your own display. Plant bulbs in October and November so they're ready to bloom in the spring. And remove the bulbs from the soil after they've bloomed because the flower will not rebloom the next year. Africa Atlanta 2014 made its official debut at the premiere of Georgia Tech's African Film Series. Like its sister event, France Atlanta, Africa Atlanta seeks to foster cooperation and partnerships. The year-long event will feature symposiums and cultural activities that bring Africa to Peachtree Street.
And we really need to know more about each other, about our culture, about our ways, about our desires, about our problems. We need to work together to make the world a better place.
A full slate of events for Africa Atlanta begins in May 2014. The City of Atlanta has online services available to make doing business with the city a little easier. On our website, you can pay water bills, municipal court citations, parking tickets, and apply for permits. Atlanta's list of online services will continue to grow as the city strives to identify more opportunities to provide access to government services via the internet. For a full list of online services, visit our website at atlantanga.gov. The Braves Nation was out in full force for the home opener against the Philadelphia Phillies. The Braves notched a 7-5 win, including a home run from rookie Justin Upton. Turner Field was sold out for the game with over 51,000 fans in attendance. Thank you for watching City Talk. I'm Thermice Bevelle.